Okay, so today, to connect further with our partner and explore that connection that we have with them some more, we're going to touch each other 100 different times in 100 different places. And this is not necessarily meant to be sexual. I mean, I understand that whenever we're with our partner and touch and things like that come up, maybe, sexuality is implied, and maybe that's where you guys want to take it, and maybe that's, how the play gets going. Beautiful. Like, allow it. It's possible. It's not off limits. However, that is not the primary goal of this. And I feel like if we put that in our mind too much as like this is going to be a sexual thing, then it can really overpower some of the other elements that we're really trying to get at. And so let's not have it be about that. Let's really go into this knowing that the most fundamental, basic, primary goal here is that we're just trying to get to know each other more fully. And every person is in a body this time, this lifetime. This is their home. This is what is them, or a huge part of them this lifetime. And so getting to know that person more fully absolutely involves getting to know their body more fully and more deeply. So that's what we're doing. Plus, we are exchanging physical touch. We're enjoying or getting to know each other in a tactile, sense of touch kind of way, and we're just giving each other affection as well. We're enjoying that aspect of partnership, feeling another person's touch and being known by another person, or being, felt by another person in the literal sense, like, touch, hands. So we are going to do this a few different ways. One way is eyes open, touch the person 100 different times. Next way is eyes closed, touch the person 100 different times. And then lastly, touch the person 100 different times with different parts of your body, not just your hands, like maybe your cheek, maybe your elbow, maybe your foot, and that's when it starts to get silly too, and that's when laughter can happen. I wanted to make sure that we just kind of like use our creativity to touch 100 different places that aren't just like one place on the, couple main places, and then we just like move a millimeter off each time. Like, no, don't cheat. Like 100 different spots that are also different than your regular, different than, what you normally touch. If you always touch their hand, or if you always touch their shoulder, like try other spots, and, resist the temptation to just like overtly make this sexualized all the way. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't touch sexual parts of that person's body. You can, but don't just try to take it there every time and with that energy, driving. Let's make this truly about getting to know each other and, removing that visual component, because we always see each other. And so you may feel like you really know the heck out of somebody's face because you see it every day and you watch them talk. But, when we get to that second layer and we touch without our eyes, closing our eyes without that visual sense, then we really heighten that sense of touch and the experience of our sense of touch, with each other, because you probably don't know what their face feels like. You know what it looks like, but do you really know all of the little facets of how it feels? And so that's when it starts to get juicy and really like a new endeavor into getting to know each other. And then, lastly, when we're playing with this whole touch with alternate parts of our body, that's when it can get silly and playful and, smiling, and also more creative, because now you're not only finding 100 different spots that you haven't touched before on the person, but you're finding new spots on yourself that you haven't touched with. And you're feeling that in your body too. This is a very grounding kind of exercise too, because you feel in your body more, focusing on your sense of touch rather than just your visual senses or, thinking and such like that. It just really sends you down into the ground and roots you because you're feeling You know, and when you're receiving the touch, how does that feel? You know, is this something that you guys should do more often? Is this something that you do a lot and that you really value about your partnership? Like, oh, this is the juicy stuff. This is what I love about us. We are so great when it comes to touch. I love this person's touch. Or is this something that you're like, we don't touch enough? Like, this is really something that we want to add more of. Or maybe you don't like touch in general. That's allowed. But, you know, feel how it feels to receive the touch, and then feel how it is to give the touch too. As I said, how much is new and different to you? Like, wow, I didn't realize there were so many different parts on this person's body that I had never felt before or explored before, you know, like back of their ear or whatever. And also, wow, when I touched with certain parts of my body besides just my hands, it felt really different. I'm getting awareness or information about me. Like, that felt super different to feel their body with, you know, the soft part of my arm or with my cheek. Or with my toes. Like, you know, of course it feels really different. And you're more aware of your own tactile sensation and the way it changes according to different parts of your body. So, you know, I love exploring all the nuances, and I could just sit and go on forever. But I'll let you find your own nuances. This is sure to be a deepening activity, something that lets you appreciate your connection with your partner more and appreciate touching them and having them in your life to be touched. To share touch with, to get to know each other, to be known and seen by, and yeah, just play too. It brings playfulness and it makes you appreciate what there is between you in potential for play. You know, all of these things that help us feel more alive. So I hope it brings more connection. And you might notice when you're doing this that, you know, you guys feel uncomfortable, or that it doesn't feel normal, or that somebody's getting self-conscious, or it feels really vulnerable, or it feels like silly. And that's okay too, because you need to know these things, these areas where you could be more vulnerable, or just kind of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and trying new things together and going through that together is bonding. You know, so if it feels silly, or it feels like, oh my gosh, I don't want you looking at that part of my body, like, notice it, let it be, and breathe it out, because this is a game, this is a dare, and you've got to do it. So, you know, we're just going to let that one go.